Let's take a joyride to Joy World. Shabbat Shalawam. The waters fail not. The 12 scrolls are the pillars of your new city, Khan. Tanahk only sessions with Khan Drive. Everybody's making their exodus. It's Exodus season, Khan. I mean, it's the Great Jubilee. What a great time to move and be moving water. It's easy to get caught in the loop, man. You might be in a 6-year loop, 7-year loop, 10-year loop. You gotta know when it's time to break free, man. They put the 8 on the 9. You gotta put the 1 on the 8. How you get out the loop, man? You add a 1. You add a 1 to the 8, you got the spiral 9 again. You come back home to the 1 creator, to the 1 power. Halal. Wow! Dracons on the wall. Y'all been patient with a con, man, letting the con grow, man, in real time. Experience. Rise and fall. But that water keeps flowing and the fire keeps burning. And I still look up and I see my tribe. And when it comes to crossing the Red Sea, man, you can't just stay on the shore. You can't just stand on the shore, my nigga. That water didn't part for Moshe until he stepped up in the water, put the staff of righteousness down, commanded. Just like Adam and Eve, Adam has commands of all the beasts of the field, man, the trees, man, the elements. Adam is the first avatar, HaWah. We're talking that water. Those waters parted, man, and those waters could be, you know what I'm saying, the release of all your debts, like the Great Jubilee, Great 70th Jubilee. Hey, Baruch Pasak to my Nagas. Is it a new beginning? Donald Trump talking about a reset. Man, they just trying to piggyback, swine back off the real ones, man, off the dragon's back. It's our reset. It ain't about them. Don't try to make it about you, Donald Trump, making the great reset, causing chaos. Y'all gotta self-implode. Your time is up. You crumbling from the inside out. You don't know your purpose in all this, Donald Trump, to mix things up. Donald Trump is like King Cyrus in the Bible. Like the Persian Cyrus, man, who HaWah did mighty things through, even though he wasn't an Israelite. Was known for his beastness, was known for his chaos, but HaWah used Cyrus, right? In a sense, HaWah even used Nebuchadnezzar in the book of Daniel, who gathered all the nobles and princes of Judah. He preserved them in some type of way, you know. Raised Daniel up, who was the perfection of his father, King David, and his name was Kiliab in the book of Chronicles. You look it up. Son of King David and Abigail gave Daniel, or Kiliab, whose name meant perfection of his father. Nebuchadnezzar spared Kiliab. The Pharaoh of Egypt spared Joseph, and Joseph became a mighty one in Egypt, prepared the way, and used that evil, that his brothers put on him to sell him into slavery. And he said, look, man, you wanted evil on me. HaWah was thinking good. They wanted evil on us, but we became vibranium, and we absorbed that and turned it into armor. They throwing stones at us, Hijack City. You throwing stones? We taking those stones, turning them into stepping stones. You say, how do they level up when I try to put a bump in the road? I'm throwing stones, and we turn them into stepping stones. We slaying giants with those stones. And don't worry about yesterday's giant. You already slayed that. Yesterday's giant deserves yesterday's stones. Don't think about your problems of the past, the giants of the past. Look to your future. Tomorrow's giant deserves tomorrow's stones, and you're going to slay that giant. The same way, Halal, HaWah, you slay giants in your past. It's time to move. HaWah's going to part the water, but you got to step into the water. Because I'm going through this with you as I'm catching up, leveling up to give you the best I got, to give my family, my wife, my children the best I could be, to put them into generational wealth and out of generational captivity, perpetual slavery. You choose dangerous freedom or peaceful slavery, man. You choose. But just know HaWah is always going to open that path for you, man. You're going to be sitting around like, look, man, how can we put this together? We got some equity in this house over here. Okay. How can we turn that equity and use that equity to buy some land or create an infrastructure on our land? You're going to say, man, I'm going to take that equity, man. And I'm going to get water rights. I'm going to get a well drilled 400 feet, 600 feet down. I'm tapping into that pre-1930, 1935 mem sauce, that ancient water. And now you got a land with water rights and the well. That's called perfected land. Say it with me, cons. Perfected land. You turn raw land to perfected land. Now you reappraise that land after you put that, water well up with the water rights, and you got your septic and you got your solar array. Man, you put that equity, you put 90, 100K into the infrastructure, and you reappraise it, and it don't just level up with what you put in. It goes 1.5. It goes times 2. Now you created new equity. Managa, this is how they've been playing the game. But now you see what we can do together. Because once you got that water flowing, they want to throw more water at you because they see, they on the move. They just want to, come up off the move, right? But really, we're using them to build our house. We're using the hijack to build our house, just like it said we would. HaWah said we would in Isaiah 14. When we take those captives, who captives we were, man, and they build it, and they build it. What the rich folk call it, using other people's money. They don't use their cash. Collateral, right? Yeah, okay. I'm just saying everyone got a family and grandma and mom or pops, and you got a little equity, got a little something. You like, what I do with it? Put it into land. Buy a little piece, an acre, 2 acre, half an acre. Put the well on it, man. Put the septic and the solar. Reappraise it. It's going to double. Now you got perfected land. You could use that if you want to as collateral for a construction loan. Now you putting a fortress on that land. You putting a home on that land, 4, 5, 6 bedrooms. Now when they put that house down, you reappraise it again, you got a estate. It didn't just go up to $400K you put in from the construction loan. No, they talking $850K now. Minus the 400. My nigga, you got like $400,000 in new equity. You take half of that, $200K, pay back the original equity, refi or whatever. I'm just saying, man, I've just been reconning like, this is how you bubble up. Now you pay off that original joint, restructure the joint. My nigga, now, instead of renting a house or renting an apartment for the same 2 racks, 3 racks, for that same amount, you on your own estate, owning your own house on your own land. You only took 200,000 out the 400,000. You could take 100,000 of that and buy 2 more lots. 2 more 2, 4, 5 acre lots. Put a well on that. You got new equity. It's crazy. You got new perfected land that has new equity that you could use that to get you back on track with the other one, and you just rocking and rolling, man. HaWah's changing things so much. I don't even think the way these banks are going, my nigga, they're not gonna survive to even get paid back. None of this stuff. They're just helping you build your house at this point. They're just putting you in the right situation. And either way, it's gonna be easy when you work together to get what you need to get to. You do it now. Everything is paid off by 8, 9 years max, man. Because you're working together. 5 years, you're paying that off. Now you just got raw equity. New land. Using that to perfect new land. Now you're in the real estate business. Now you're a real estate investor. You got bad credit, man. They slipped you a credit card. You didn't know what to do with it at a young age, man. You've been getting jammed up. I understand. I've been in the same flow, man. So no one ever taught me, with all the economics classes I've taken in college and everything, keep it at 1% utility. Use other people's money, right? You got the worst credit ever, man. If you popping off, man, cool. This ain't for you. But still teach this lesson. 1% utility. Utilization, right? 1%. You got $1,000 secured card. You get a secured card, because that's what people with horrible credit need. A secured card, right? They get a secured card, man. $500, $1,000. All right, let's say it's 1,000. Keep it at 1%. Before the closing statement, get it down to $10 every month. Get it back down to $10. Never max that card out. Just use a couple hundred a month. Pay it back down to $10 on the $1,000 card. That's 1% utilization. You pay that down before the closing date, not the due date. The closing date's 2 or 3 weeks before the due date. Look at the back of the statement. Y'all didn't think y'all was gonna walk into economics 101? I gotta give y'all this drop, because I'm just hearing it, with fresh ears. And I'm like, before I was like, man, screw their credit, screw Hijack City. But man, when we use their credit, man, against them, when we use their system against them, when we're proficient and we can get their banks, involved, and to make the hijack build it for us. Play the long game. Stop patting our own pockets. Man, you can build up from a 500 credit score to a 600 in a few months, man, just by focusing on this flow, man. 1%. If you already got the cards, get them to 1% utilization, man. You already got your card. Don't just leave no balance on there past the closing date. Again, that's 2 or 3 weeks before the due date. Forget the due date. Focus on the closing date. That's when the banks take the snapshot, send it to the credit bureau, right? Get that thing to $10. If you have a 5,000 car, get it to 50. Trust me, man. Do it. All right? Do it. And just watch them, throw more water your way. 5-6 months. Watch what happens. And then when the due date comes, just, knock out that $10 or $50. They always want you to keep a little balance on it a little bit, but keep it around 1%, 2% max. Just show them, hey, man, I don't even need this. Don't use your car for things because you are in survival mode. All right, you're just playing a game. You're just playing a point game. You just do it to play the point game. Instead of going to the movies with the cash, you say, I'm going to use my car for this. You go out to eat, I'm going to use my car for this because you already got the cash. You're just doing it for the points. That's how the rich get rich, right? Put it on the points. I'm going to buy this airline ticket, then I'm going to pay it down to $10 before the closing day, 2 or 3 weeks before the due date. And then, trickle down that a little more on the due date if you want to. But you do that, we up, right? We put our monies, whether it's equity, savings, into buying a little lot, putting that well on it, getting your water rights, perfect that land, your sewage, septic, solar. Now that land is called plug and play, man. Write it down. Plug and play. Now you got a plug and play land because anything can plug you up and you're ready to play the game. You in the game. You got some skin in the game. That land went from $20,000 raw land to $150K perfected land. It's ready to go. It's ready to put a house on. You put the house on it just like Monopoly. What happens, man? Come on. Then you reappraise the value. Now you like, I just created equity out of nowhere, boss. Now you got your land estate. Of course, you put that in your land trust, family trust, right? You create your trust. You put your trust in the holdings, right? Now you got your holdings, your LLCs. All this is in your holdings too. Oh no, boss. Like the Russian dolls. Like the Russian dolls. This is Finance Drop 101. You thought you was just getting Tanahk only sessions. This is why you tune in to 432 Drop Radio. I'm just saying, as I get these revelations, I'm sharing it with you because it was never broke down to me like this. Get it down to the 1% utilization. Get the $1,000 car down to $10 every month. That means you ain't spending $1,000 on a car. That means you only spending $100 or $200. You're only doing it just so you can break it down to $10 or $20, whatever you're doing. You know what I'm saying? That's all you're doing it for, so that you get more lines of their money and you can use it to build, man. Not that you're using a credit card to build, but you use the credit score to get those, easier interest rates and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, just surf the wave, man. Let's say you had a house and you still got 40, 50,000 on it to pay, right? And let's say you got equity of like 100K, 150K, and you use that 150K, right? And let's say you get a hard money loan. That means like a big percent, 15%, something crazy, where it's like $2,000 a month in interest, and in 7 months it's $14,000. Okay, rock with a noggin. So you accept that $14,000 interest over that 7 months. Why? Because the new company, is washing that 50,000 out. They're buying out that loan. They're giving you 150. They're taking the 50K that you owe on that house out of that 150. They're leaving you with 100. You taking that 100, right? Let's say you already got a little piece of land, or you're gonna get a little piece of land. You get your water rights, your well, little septic, little solar, boom, bing, bow. You in plug and play, reappraise that $20,000 land is now 150K. If you choose to, if you need to, you got it as collateral. And let's say you get a construction loan at 300K. You got 150K land. That's 50% already. You coming in with collateral, and they know once they put that house on it, it's gonna shoot up to 600,000, 700,000. Now you create 200, 300,000 in new equity. And you take that out, you pay off that 150 you got, that paid off your 50K, right? And now you free and clear on that previous property because you just paid it off. And if it's a rental property, now they paying you and you putting that money for the rent right into your new estate, whether you in Utah, Arizona, Colorado. My daddy never taught me this. My uncles never taught me. I'm teaching my children this. HaWah. Play the long game, man. You pay that joint off, you got a little left, you buy another piece of land, or you just use a little more to improve your house and improve your land and raise it up even more on the next appraisal. You know what I'm saying? As your land keeps going up in value. And of course, your goal is to be free and clear, of course, on your estate, on your land, Tanahk. But if it's about getting it set up and just taking on that mortgage rather than just your house mortgage or that other house, you know what I'm saying, on with equity that you don't really know what to do with yet, or land, a house on land that you don't own. Now you transition that money. You're not just sitting on it over there in that house on land you don't own. You transition that money to land. Where they say HaWah ain't making no more land. God ain't making no more land. The land keeps going up in value. It holds your assets. Because at the end of the day, it's about living. It's about life. It's about having your own water. I'm saying this, cons, as I just purchased my first water rights. And, pre-1930 water. Digging my well. And something changes in you when you got your own water. You know you good. You know the family's good for generations. We're not renting water. We're owning our water now. Obviously, we own it by birthright. I get it. But in the eyes of the hijack, they own all the water. We're buying it at a super premium. We're getting pimped and bullied and hoodwinked and bamboozled. I know. HaWah gave us this as a birthright. It was created for us, mama, to breathe and nourish and nurture and feed. We've been without a king, without a khan for a long time. We've been in solitude, solitary. Hosea 3 for a long time before we started searching for HaWah and keeping it cold. Activating our one true shepherd again. So we can get that water, get that drop, get that mem sauce. And that's how we keep it bubbling, man. So while there's these systems set up, learn how to navigate even in their system, like water on a real estate flow, land development flow, equity flow, credit flow. Like, we ain't too cool for school. Or if you like, yo, forget it all, man, do you. You don't need it, you good. But I'm saying for my cons in transition that's in the cities that have a house, own their house, or renting out a house, whatever the case is, you got a little bit of equity. Put it into your land infrastructure and watch it bubble. That's, you could be buying and selling real estate, or you could be building up your estate, and really playing the long game for security and longevity for your family while building new equity and using that to buy more land. And if you want to start flipping it, cool. But this is how you get into business. This is how you get in the flow. Land is for sale. Build it up. Put it in the well. If anything, tap into that water. Imagine 10 years of drinking pure water. Not that surface tap shit, right? Not that surface crap. Not that bottle crap you can't confirm. But water, man, that's verified. When you buy water rights, man, they check for the volatility, the mobility, making sure it can flow in your land, on your land, perfectly. Like, everything goes into this. So And when you buy it like pre-1930, that means that if it's a drought, they turn off everybody else's table before they ever get to you. They're cutting out 2000s, 1980s and 70s, man. 1930, 1920, 1800s, like that's pre-ancient, man, for them. Like, water is liquid gold. Water is liquid gold. You got water, you got everything. A king without water is like a king just with a title, you know. But a king with water, man. A Khan with water. So make sure you got your water. You know what I mean? We're not doing this so we can say, hey, follow me. You know what I mean? Follow me here. Live on my land. Live in my house. That's not what tribing up is. Tribing up is the inspiration so that you can get yours. Get your land. Tribe up with a few. Watch it build. And then we can have a whole network of Nagaville. For real is real. Imagine that. A network of Nagas that got their half acre, 2, 3, 7, 10. Some people got hundreds of acres. But a network that are bartering and working together and sync and in unity and vibration. That gives me Shalawam. And I want to come to y'all, man. You know, just to spread the Shalawam, man, on this beautiful Shabbat and this beautiful Baruch Passag. And just to feel the vibration with you, man. And just let you know I'm here working on water rights right now. You know what I mean? And I know that is detrimental, absolutely foundational to our exodus. I can't just sit in the cities and not have water. You know what I'm saying? It's been too long. And it's time. So after 10 years, you know, finally just put all the resources into making sure we had pre-1930 water rights in Utah, you know. And to be able to say that to my family is like, yo, you own water. And then you can keep buying more. So we got 1 acre foot right now. The going price, you know, is around $20K, $20,000 in Utah for 1 acre foot, you know what I'm saying? Love to Chef Candy. We put our resources together and make sure we have water for the family, water for the tribe. Then you add another acre for the average family. They say uses about 0.6, 0.8, 0.46, 0.48 acre foot. You know, just look it up. So we bought an entire acre foot. You know, make sure we have more than enough for a couple of families. You know what I'm saying? For the agricultural, for the garden, you know. And then we're going to add another acre foot. That's called stacking your water. They don't teach us how to stack our water, man. They're talking about stacking chips. We stacking water. Drop Nation got the water. So then you put another acre foot. Now you got 3, 4, 5 acre feet. And then you can always sell it like land. You can sell the water like land. You can say, hey, I'm selling an acre foot because I want to get about 30 G's right quick. And then I'm going to buy 2 more acre feet after I do. I'm going to buy a couple of pieces of land with this acre foot. You could sell the water to buy more land and then raise the equity and then buy more water. Like, my nigga, it's chess, not checkers. So, I'm just coming to you live, man. Shabbat Shalawam, Tanahk, only sessions. Wakandra. Enjoy the wave, the water, the stillness. Love to Jesse. HaWah. HaLal. Wow. Take a deep breath. Come. Y'all got drop popping off, man. Y'all got drop popping off. Let's get it, man. Rock out with your Tanahks, man. This is Tanahk only sessions. We're talking about the 12 pillars, and we're going to read 12 scriptures. Exodus chapter 16. Let's get it. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. We're talking Exodus, movement of the people. It's our time. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, would that we have died by the hand of HaWah in the land of Egypt. You try to get niggas out from their cribs and houses and the city life, they ain't never want to slay you because they miss their internet, they miss their social medias, they miss their friends, the homies down the block. Like, people don't understand their attachments and how sometimes your attachments aren't just holding you back, it's holding back the people that love you. Because since you can't leave, they can't leave. Oh man, would that we had died by the hand of HaWah in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, when we did eat bread to the full, for you have brought us forth into the wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. We hungry, boss. Verse 4. Then said HaWah unto Moses, behold, I will cause to rain bread from heaven to you. So what's this bread? What does it symbolize in your life? When you hungry, you think you're going hungry, you think there ain't no way, and HaWah opens your path up. One day, man, I'm a share with y'all my testimony of what I'm going through right now as I make my exodus, and how many hijacks tried to block the path immediately. And you're going to have to prove your faith and keep your feet moving, man. Keep the water flowing. Keep the fire burning. Trust yourself. Trust HaWah. Because they're going to be murmuring against you just like they murmured against HaWah. We crazy for one sovereign land and sovereign water. And being out the way of these crazy big cities once, we see what's happening on the puppet show in Iran. All these things, man, it's like we see the tenderoni, we see the needles coming out. We crazy for wanting our family fortified with their own solar power. When they play with the city grids, the lights go out on you. You want people playing with you and your family forever, jamming up, hijacking your water. You need to go to the grocery store for everything because you ain't got no garden, no crops, no livestock. So they cried unto Moses, and HaWah said unto Moses, behold, I will cause to rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, that I may prove them. HaWah's waiting to prove us, prove you, whether they will walk in my law or not. And it shall come to pass on the 6th day that they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gathered daily. HaWah said, I will prove them. That Red Sea didn't part for Moses until he stepped into the water. It didn't even part as he walked up to the water. It didn't part when he stared at the water and was fearful of crossing on dry ground. Everybody would be shook. What do you mean the water's going to part? We hungry, boss. Pharaoh's chasing them. And even when they're walking on dry ground, they were fearful that the waters would collapse and drown them. Even during the miracle, you might have a few steps yourself into the water. You see the waters parting, and you still afraid. And the people around you is afraid that this plan might not work. And what if this? And what if this? Well, look, what if we just stay stagnant and do nothing? And you stay renting your apartment and renting your house when you could be owning your estate. Or you feel like you owning your estate, but don't own the land your estate is on. You got some equity in your house, but don't have equity in the whole land or the whole estate. Damn near never being free and clear with this crazy loan, man, but you got a little equity. You could flip that and build your infrastructure, and build new equity that would pay for that equity. You know what I'm saying? Man, it's just a beautiful revelation. You know what I'm saying? When you see a repeatable, observable process that can work for most Nagas in this situation. Some Nagas got houses fully paid for, you know what I'm saying, with nothing but equity. You in the goods. Some Nagas got no houses, no nothing, but got a few homies, got a few people that can put together a couple racks, a couple thousand each, get about 10,000, buy a half-acre of land, and build that joint up with water, man. Build it up with that mem sauce. With the water, with the well, with the solar, even if it ain't about building equity, it's just about salvation. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. Just as the Shabbat approaches, man. HaWah, MHOE, doubled our provisions. HaWah gives us twice as much we need for this transition based on our intention. That's what the code is for, to purify your intentions, man. We got to stay on the mission, Over feelings, over emotions, staying on the mission. Isaiah 52, HaLal, Tanahk only sessions. Wow. Awake, awake, put on your strength, O Zion, put on your beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city, for henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean. Shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. For thus says HaWah, you were sold for nothing, and you shall be redeemed without money. Don't matter what you got and what you don't got. You're being redeemed. Keep your intention strong. Tribe up with your cons. You'll find out you got more than you thought you had. Some knockers got tax money coming in, tax refund. Put your tax refunds together. Buy some land and put a well on that thing. And now you got perfected land, and now you got new equity, man. You got a place for salvation. HaWah always tells us to flee into the mountains. Breathe that mountain air, man. And you shall be redeemed without money, for thus says HaWah, your power, my people went down aforetime, Shalawam, into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Assyrian oppressed them without cause. Now therefore, what do I hear, saith HaWah, seeing that my people is taken away for nothing? They that rule over them do howl, says HaWah, in my name continually. All the day he is blasphemed. Therefore my people shall know my name. Wah! Therefore they shall know in that day that I, even he that spoke, behold, here I am. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of the messenger of good tidings, that announces peace, the harbinger of good tidings, that announces salvation, that says unto Zion, thy power reigns. Hark, thy watchmen, they lift up the voice. Together do they sing, for they shall see eye to eye, HaWah returning to Zion. Break forth into joy. We talking joy world. Sing together. Yeah, waste places, you waste places of Jerusalem. For HaWah has comforted his people. He has redeemed Jerusalem. HaWah has made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our HaWah. Depart you, go you, depart out from thence. Touch no unclean thing. Get you out of the midst of her. Be you clean. These 5G, sticky, unclean cities with these unclean, you know what I'm saying, politics, man. Yeah, this is all our land. But the fested, these city grids that they got us in, they're going to be the first to be cleansed by HaWah. And you ain't going to be surprised. You know your people are in a sad state of disregard, man. But HaWah will cover us in the cities. HaWah will cover us in the mountains. I would never say that the righteous will be destroyed anywhere. But do you want more comfort or less comfort? It might be uncomfortable now to make that type of move and set up your sovereign estate, your sovereign place. But just like a baby being born, man, first that baby's in the belly, and that baby get too big for the belly. That belly get a little snug, too tight. That's us right now. That's us in the boiling pot. That's us in the burning house. We're the baby in the belly, and we long overdue for birth, for rebirth. But when mama starts squeezing that baby out, it gets very uncomfortable. That's us right now in an uncomfortable time. When the yoke is being released, it is not comfortable. When the Hebrews are being released out of Egypt in the wilderness, they were murmuring because they were not comfortable. They needed a purging. They were spoiled. They couldn't bring that 440 hijack straight to the promised land. You had so many idolaters in that mixed multitude. They were still eating pig. They were still eating the swine. Just read about it. Read the Torah. It gets narrow in the birth canal, but it's all about that water. When that baby is born, it's born into a new life, and it has nothing but space and opportunity, and that's you on your land in your sovereign estate, protected from the hijacked beast system and fortified in real life in real time. If you just got a few, tribe up with them. I'm not going to tell Nagas to meet Nagas on the internet and then trust everybody. It's just too hijacked, man. I've been doing it and trying to navigate through it. Just find a few families, man. Find a couple families. Find a couple Nagas. My Naga, if you zine up and tribe up with one or two Nagas, man, and you help one or two families, you've done your part. I'm going to help a few families. You help a few families. And if every Naga helps a couple families and a couple Nagas, we're doing our part. How you going to, throw shade on a Naga for helping 4 families instead of 40 families? You didn't help 40 families, you only helped 4 families. How many families did you help? If you just help one other Naga, you've done your part. That makes me proud to know that we at least, at the very least, have helped the tribe up, more than a couple, more than a few families, and, if we get to 40, amazing, man, but we got children, we got wives, we got mothers to protect. We're not just going to trust random strangers on the internet, even if they are in the comment box saying Shalawam, Shalawam, Shalawam. I'm a slow roller. It takes me a while to get to know people. I don't talk on the phone very often. You know what I'm saying? But it's not about us just jumping to conclusions. It's about the people that's around you that you do know. You know somebody for 10 plus years. You rocking with them. They solid. Those are the Nagas you build with. You pray to HaWah and say, please give me discernment like King Solomon's praying in Psalms or Proverbs chapter 4. Proverbs chapter 4, King Solomon's praying for wisdom and understanding, for discernment, to judge between good and evil, and these frequencies around him. That's what you pray for, man. And HaWah will give you more Baruch, abundant Baruch. Deuteronomy, you'll be overabundant. Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 15, you read about it. Overabundant in blessings. Blessed when you come in, blessed when you go out, blessed in the field. Blessed is the fruit of your womb. Blessings on blessings on blessings. Baruch on Baruch on Baruch. Have you ever felt overabundant in Baruch? You ever felt overabundant in blessings? That's the promise of the Creator, man. You think the Creator's bluffing when you keep the code? You Baruch your brother, your sister, you tribe up with a few. HaWah gives you so much overabundant Baruch when you keep the code on your land, man. Getting off this 5G, GMOs, chemtrail, hijack. At least lessening the blow, at least getting your family to cleaner air. I'm in LA. Every time I check the air quality, piss poor. I'm looking at some of these, areas that got a little elevation, 4,000 or 5,000, like Utah, different areas, man. And, they're at least at the upper fares, like, you know what I'm saying? They at least at fair. I'm at poor every day. They're at fair. I can't give my children poor air forever, man. They spraying, dumping chemicals, so touch no unclean thing, my night. Get you out of the midst of her. Be you clean, you that bear the vessels of HaWah. For you shall not go in haste, neither shall you go by flight. So before you have to rush up out of here, come up out of here and surf the wave. HaWah didn't want the Hebrews running out of Egypt. If the Pharaoh decided to chase him, the Pharaoh got smoked. And any hijack that follows you into the Red Sea, when the waters start parting, they will be devoured by the water, and that's a factual guarantee. Anything against you is Pharaoh and his army. It's David slaying Goliath. And again, you can't use today's stone to slay yesterday's giant. You got to let them giants rest in the past and prepare yourself with a new stone every day to slay whatever giant is in your way. Because even in the promised land, Joshua and them had to fight giants, man. And sometimes them giants are your own thoughts and your own fears that got you looped in. Slavery is a choice sometimes. It's true. Yeezy told us. Sometimes we looped into the hijack by choice because we're afraid to break free. Dangerous freedom or peaceful slavery. And slavery ain't so peaceful, and sometimes freedom ain't so dangerous. It's just your mind playing tricks on you. Dun 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 dun. Tanahk only sessions. Isaiah 32. Y'all surfing away with me? I'm surfing away with you. Isaiah 32, verse 18. And my people shall abide in a peaceable habitation and in secure dwellings and in quiet resting places. And it shall hail in the downfall of the forest, but the city shall descend into the valley. Happy are you that sow beside all water, that send forth freely the feet of the ox and the donkey. Back to verse 16, it says in Isaiah 32, justice shall dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness shall abide in the fruitful field, and the work of righteousness shall be peace. And the effect of righteousness, quietness, and confidence forever. And my people shall abide in a peaceable habitation. HaWah never meant us to abide in perpetual slavery. And if you can get to a peaceful habitation now, before the haste, before the gas runs out, Well, the grocery stores shut down and the lights do this and the this do that. And the water's just chapped up. And left to yourself. Primary mem sauce, take the wheel. Then you get to a secure dwelling, man, and you go through that birth, the birth pains now, rather than going through them later. You go through it, voluntarily before you're forced by haste because you so afraid to move and break the cycle. You want to stay in that loop. And like I said, the loop is infinity, but the loop is also 2 doors. A 4 and a 4 is an 8. That's 2 doors. That's 2 dalets. That's 2 dolls. The 4th letter in the Hebrew, the Aleph, Bat, Gam, Dal. Strong power enters your house. You start to walk, move, Gam, Gimel, right? Through a doorway, Dal. Then you get the Ha and you get the Wa. And then you get your Zaya, Za, your food, your nourishment. Where you get to cut off the frequency of the hijack and leave it outside your gates forevermore. David's name, right? D-W-D, Dawood, has 2 doors. You need to know. There's a door that is an entrance, right, to the peace. The other door is an exit from Hijack City. So you're exiting Hijack City, you're walking into peace. The W is security. It is the Wah, the tent peg that secures the foundation. So your house is secure with 2 doors. That's what Dawood is. That's the function of the prester, to secure the tribe within the gates, within the entrances, within the doors. One shepherd forever, Ezekiel 37, is for a reason, because you are secure in both doors. The back door ain't open, right? We ain't letting the back door be open, man. We ain't getting backdoored like Dragon Canoe. The door is secure with the one shepherd forever from all hijacks. Then you get your breath. Then you get your security. Then you get your Zaya. Then you get your quietness and confidence forever, verse 17. Verse 18, Isaiah 32, and my people shall abide in a peaceable habitation. That sounds like the eternal Shalawam mentioned in 2 Baruch 73. Read about it. This is Tanahk only sessions. Psalms 45, let's go. You surfing a wave with me? Because I'm surfing a wave with you. Verse 13. Let's get it from the top. My heart overflows with a goodly matter. I say my work is concerning a king. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer. Thou art fairer than the children of men. Grace is poured upon your lips. Therefore HaWah has blessed you forever. Gird your sword upon thy thigh, O mighty one. Thy glory and thy majesty, and in thy majesty prosper. Ride on in behalf of truth and meekness and righteousness, and let your right hand teach thee tremendous things. Your arrows are sharp. The people fall under you. They sink into the heart of the king's enemies. Thy throne given of HaWah is forever and ever. A scepter of equity is the scepter of thy kingdom. Thou hast loved righteousness and hated wickedness. Therefore, HaWah, your power, has anointed you with the oil of gladness above your fellows. Mirth and aloes and cassia are all thy garments. Out of ivory palaces, stringed instruments have made thee glad. King's daughters are among thy favorites, and thy right hand does stand the queen in gold of Ophir. Hearken, O daughter, and consider, and incline thine ear. Forget also thine own people and thy own father's houses. So shall the king desire thy beauty, for he is thy Lord, and do homage unto him. O daughter of Tyre, the riches of the people shall entreat thy favor with a gift. All glorious is the king's daughters within the palace. Her raiment is of shakir work, enwrought with gold. She shall be led unto the king on richly woven stuff. The virgins, her companions in her train, being brought unto thee, they shall be led with gladness and rejoicing. They shall enter into the king's palace. Instead of thy fathers shall be thy sons, whom thou shalt make princes in all thy land. I will make thy name to be remembered in all generations. Therefore shall the people praise thee forever and ever. Tanahk only sessions. We're talking about the glory of the queens. You got the patriarch, you got the matriarch. Shout out to the mamas, man, allowing her to reign in her own peace. You know, we have to honor our amas. Proverbs chapter 8 says, extol her. Wisdom, understanding is hers. Proverbs chapter 8. Extol means to praise. To praise your breath. To value your security. It puts you in the right frequency. To know that when you stand on that water, those waters part. But it doesn't part until you stand in it. You might be right there staring out on the shore right now, and all you've ever wanted was for your daughter to be a princess and your wife to treat her like the queen she is, and your mother like the queen she is, and your father like the king he's been for raising a great son. Or maybe you're like me, man, you know. In this manifestation, my father passed away 16 years ago, and I know that building my land is something he would love to be a part of. That's all he ever talked about, was the sovereignty of getting our land back and having land. And to give that to him, and my mother's still around, mama dropped to, you know what I'm saying, share this with her and to teach her that she's forever young, that we are a part of the generation that will never taste death. That you don't have to make a death contract because everybody says so. That you have plenty of nagas in the scriptures in the past that never tasted death, that went like Elijah in the whirlwind of fire. Don't think you got to make a death contract when we're the generation that will never taste death. This is the Jubilee, when all debts are forgiven and freedom is your choice, and so is slavery. God. And it shall come to pass in that day, says HaWah, that I will break his yoke from off your neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more, serve themselves of him. When we release our debts, we are bursting out of the bonds, stocks and bonds. And no stranger, no bank shall serve themselves of your estate anymore. You use them to rebuild your heritage. They serve you. You take them captives whose captives you were. This is Jeremiah 30 I'm reading from. Stay with me, guys. Go there, Jeremiah 30. Tanahk only sessions. Verse 8. And it shall come to pass in that day, says HaWah, that I will break his yoke from off your neck. What do you think this is in the Great Jubilee? The release of the captives, the release of the slaves, the forgiveness and the release of the debts. You forgive your brother just like you want HaWah to forgive you. He owe you $200, release that debt so HaWah can release his debt on you. If you don't learn how to forgive your brother and sister, you will never get the fullness of what HaWah can give you, when all your debts are forgiven. I will break his yoke from off your neck and will burst your bands, and strangers shall no more make him their slave. But they shall serve HaWah and Dawood their Khan, whom I will raise up. Isaiah 58. Let's go there. Tanahk only session. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a horn, and declare unto my people their transgression, and do to the house of Jacob their sins. Declare unto my people their transgressions, and to the house of Jacob their sins, yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness and forsook not the ordinance of their power. They ask of me righteous ordinances. They delight to draw near HaWah. Therefore have we fasted, and thou seest not. Wherefore have we afflicted our soul, and thou takest no knowledge? Behold, in the day of your fast you pursue your business, and exact all your labors. Behold, you fast for strife and contention, and to smite with the fist of wickedness. Yea, you fast not this day, so as to make your voice to be heard on high. Is such the fast that I have chosen? The day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head as a bulrush, and to spread sackcloth and ashes unto him? Wilt thou call this a fast and an acceptable day to HaWah? Is not this the fast I chosen? To loose the fetters of wickedness, to undo the bands of the yoke, and to let the oppressed go free, and that you broke every yoke. It is not to deal thy bread to the hungry, and that thou bring the poor that are cast out of thy house. when thou seest the nakedness, that you cover him, and that thou hid not thyself from thy own flesh. Then shall thy light break forth as the morning, and thy healing spring forth speedily, and thy righteousness shall go before thee. The glory of HaWah shall be thy reward. The glory of HaWah shall be thy rearward. Thou shalt call, and HaWah will answer. Thou shalt cry, and he will say, here I am. Sounds like King David in Psalms 18. I cried out to him. He heard me with his ears. He came down with smoke out of his nose, fire out of his mouth, because he heard David. And HaWah hears you and says, here I am. If thou take away from the midst of thee the yoke, the putting forth of the finger, and the speaking wickedness, if thou draw out thy soul to the hungry, and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall thy light rise in darkness, and thy gloom be as the noonday. That's what we want, man. A lot of us is feeling dark, feeling gloomy, but your gloom will feel like high noon, my naga. Just keep the water flowing. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and it is darkest before the dawn. And your light will rise in darkness. Verse 11, and HaWah will guide thee continually and satisfy your soul. In drought, and make strong thy bones, and thou shalt be like a watered garden. We got that water. And like a spring of water, whose waters fail not. This is what it's all about. Managa, to have waters that fail not. Back to Isaiah 32, verse 17, it says, and the works of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness, quietness, and assurance forever. While they freaking out, while they're in haste, you got the water flowing. We can move in silence. There's one way to hit the lottery. You can hit it nice and loud. Ching, ching, ching. Lottery winner. $1 million. Millions of dollars. Or you hit that lottery nice and slow, nice and quiet. Turning a little equity into collateral, you know what I mean? Into new equity, you know. Building infrastructure quietly. Then next thing you look up, you got $1 million stake. It's not about the dollars, man. It's about the salvation of your family, of your tribe, of yourself, which is priceless. It's about having sovereignty to teach your children, to raise your children, learning real things, building spirituality, you know. Let's keep the water flowing, man. You got that water. Drum Nation got that water. Isaiah 58 verse 11, and HaWah will guide thee continually and satisfy thy soul. HaWah will satisfy your soul. Right now we are wary, we're fighting a hijack. But HaWah brings the spring of water that fails not, my naga. So we keep the water flowing and keep the fire burning, because this water fails not. First 17, 1 Samuel 17, man. Join me, my naga, for the dismount as we keep the water flowing. They can't stop the water, man. Hijack trying, but they can't stop the missiles. Verse 37. And David said, HaWah that delivered me out the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, Go, and HaWah shall be with thee. HaWah delivers us out the paw, the lion, and the bear, and any hijacked beast in the beast system. Smoke out of his nose, fire out of his mouth. The same power that saw us through the hijack years is the one delivering the giants of the land into our hands today. We are slaying these giants with one stone at a time every day. Jeremiah 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. And before you came out the womb, I sanctify you. HaWah knew us, and we were sanctified for this mission specifically and ordained for this mission specifically. I ordained you a prophet unto the nations. Halal, HaWah. I will make them one nation in the land. Ezekiel 37. That's what it's all about. That's what this flow, that's what this move is all about. That's what all that hijack is all about, man. It's getting us to focus on the Creator, man. All this shit Trump doing is getting us to focus back on being one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. And one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore. Wow, that's what this is all about, guys. Keeping the water flowing. Behold, the day come. Amos 9, verse 13 says, HaWah, overtake the reaper and the trader, or the treader of grapes, the treader of grapes, him that sows seed, and the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. HaWah. We here for it all to be happening, and I praise HaWah, man, for this opportunity to witness the mountains drop the sweet wine again. We did it again, man. Tanahk only sessions, man. They can't stop the water. The matrix is folding. They trying to glitch out our water, man. We just keep the water flowing, and we turn them stones into stepping stones. They throw a stone, we turn it into stepping stones. Allow HaWah to the tribe.